WVII Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Fire crews are cleaning up a fire scene in Lincoln at this hour. We've got the latest. Good afternoon. I'm Susan Farley. A jury found a Stockton Springs mother guilty of murdering her own child. And the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office arrested two people following a search of a Bradford residence Tuesday morning. Authorities say it was part of a multi-year investigation. Thank you for joining us. We have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's take a look at our forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Wednesday afternoon. We've made it to the middle of the week, and your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. Already, small craft advisory is up until 6 p.m. on Thursday. We have a cold front moving again that's causing some active weather along the coast, and that is why we have these in effect, because wave heights are still remaining rather active. We just dropped the aerial flood watch as it just dropped at around the noon time frame, as rain that developed earlier this morning is now starting to move away. We're still getting a few showers in here from time to time too, but we're starting to transition from the rain that we saw this morning to more of a partly cloudy sky in the western parts of the state, maybe a few showers once you get to the east of Bangor. So finally, things are starting to improve. Bigger picture, though, here's some more activity along the coast here, even some thunderstorms here. You can see with the lightning bolts here with the clouds, and that is why with the active weather, we keep these small craft advisories going for a little while longer. But futurecast for the rest of today, maybe some clouds, but otherwise a lot of sunshine, but a mostly clear sky on the way later on tonight. The winds could get a little gusty at times as well out of the south at around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sustained gusts up to 25 miles per hour cannot be ruled out either. So your forecast for today, lower 60s, the rain showers this morning, an early afternoon transitioning to a partly cloudy sky, while the south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. For tonight, upper 30s, mostly clear, a light breeze out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period, a mixture of clouds and sun, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Crews are at the scene of a train derailment in Orneville. There are a few details, but authorities say it happened after 5 this morning near Route 16. Multiple train cars are involved. No roads are blocked. We have a crew on the scene, and we'll have more information as it becomes available. Fire crews are cleaning up a fire scene in Lincoln at this hour. The fire call came in at 9:17 this morning. Lincoln Fire Chief Les Brown tells us they knocked the fire down quickly. There is mostly smoke and water damage to the home. He believes that it was an electrical fire that started in the back room of the house. A Stockton Springs mother has been found guilty of murdering her own child. A.J. Douglas heard from the 3-year-old's grandmother, who says more accountability is needed for the family to heal.
After less than 2 hours of deliberation, a jury found Jessica Williams guilty of depraved indifference murder. Williams was arrested in June 2021 after her 3-year-old son Maddox died from internal injuries in the abdomen. During closing statements, defense attorney Jeffrey Toothacre remained adamant that Maddox's injuries could have resulted from innocent child's play. However, medical examiner Liam Fonte testified Maddox's injuries point to battered child syndrome. Fonte also explained the injuries Maddox suffered could not have been caused by another child due to the level of impact causing internal injuries.
The evidence offered by Dr. Fonte, the deputy chief medical examiner, indicating the severe injuries for Maddox. I think that what the investigation showed and what the evidence showed was that these injuries could not have been caused in that accidental manner, and that is what the jury's verdict here shows.
Maddox died 4 months after being removed from his paternal grandmother's home. Despite a guilty verdict, she continues to call for action to protect other children from suffering abuse.
Justice for my grandson Maddox, Marissa Kennedy, Kendall Chick, and all the other children wronged by the department will not begin until OCFS is held accountable. Maddox matters, every child matters.
Bose provided emotional words of how she'd like Maddox to be remembered beyond his tragic death.
As a normal 3-year-old that was happy and playful and loved at one time, and still is.
Williams instructed her attorneys not to give comment following the guilty verdict. Williams faces up to 25 years to life. Sentencing is expected to take place in December. In Belfast, A.J. Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
A Glenburn woman has been sentenced to 20 years in prison on federal drug and firearms charges. According to court records, 31-year-old Danielle McBrarity conspired with others to distribute and possessed with intent to distribute methamphetamine and fentanyl in Penobscot and Aroostook counties. In 2020, she was also found illegally possessing a gun. When she is finished with her sentence, McBrarity will have 5 years of supervised release. A local couple turned to modern technology to help stop a rash of thefts. They wish to remain anonymous, but they tell us someone has been stealing their belongings from properties and job sites they own in the Herman area. After losing generators and tools and other property, they decided to install cameras and air tag tracking devices on their remaining properties. One was in place last night when someone backed in and stole an expensive dump trailer. They watched the whole thing and tracked the stolen trailer to a home in East Corinth. The victims say the alleged crooks are well known to local police. The Sheriff's Department confirms the case is now under investigation. Maine game wardens have recovered the body of a missing Vinyl Haven man. 31-year-old Owen Adair was last seen on October 13th. Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife spokesperson Mark Lottie says he was reported missing Monday after his ATV was found near Foley Pond. His boots and a canoe with some personal items were found along the shoreline. The Maine Warden Service began searching the pond Tuesday morning, and divers recovered his body around noon. His remains have been taken to the state medical examiner's office in Augusta. U.S. Marshals in Maine have arrested 82 violent fugitives over the last 6 months. The Department of Justice says it's part of an initiative aimed at combating violent crimes in cities and towns across Maine. From the beginning of April through the end of September, the DOJ says the U.S. Marshals have arrested fugitives wanted for homicide, sex offenses, and other violent crimes. 19 fugitives were captured for crimes involving dangerous drugs, 17 for felony assaults, 9 for weapons offenses, and 2 for homicides. Others were arrested for offenses including rape, kidnapping, and carjacking. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office arrested 2 people following the search of a Bradford residence Tuesday morning. Sheriff's deputies conducted the search on the Middle Road in Bradford around 7 a.m. following a several-year investigation into drug trafficking activities. The Sheriff's Office says during the search, deputies located 368 grams of assorted illegal drugs, including methamphetamine, fentanyl, crack cocaine, and other drugs, as well as a firearm, a stolen camper, and an undisclosed amount of drug proceeds. Following the search, deputies arrested 41-year-old Brian Jasowski and 40-year-old Lisa Jasowski. Each has been charged with 2 counts of aggravated trafficking of scheduled drugs and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. The Sheriff's Office was assisted by the Maine Drug Enforcement Agency and Homeland Security. Bruce Poliquin spoke about border security during a press conference at the Republican headquarters in Bangor Tuesday. The Republican District 2 candidate reflected on his trip to the southern border, which he claimed to be wide open under the Biden administration. He urged incumbent Jared Golden to visit the border himself. Poliquin claimed undercurrent policies are to blame for an influx of fentanyl coming into the U.S. He said securing the southern border would be a top priority for him if elected, touting his endorsement by the National Border Patrol Council.
They extend these endorsements to individuals who they know have a record of supporting law enforcement along our borders or with our state police or our sheriffs or our local PDs. I am that person.
In response, Representative Golden's campaign released a statement saying, quote, Mainers know Jared Golden has a strong record of standing up to his party and supporting border security. During his time in Congress, he voted to send more resources, including the border wall, physical barriers, border infrastructure personnel, and more to strengthen the border than Bruce Poliquin ever did in his 4 years in office. Jared knows that local law enforcement has an essential role to play in the fight against fentanyl in our state, and he's proud to have earned the endorsement of the 2 biggest law enforcement groups in Maine over Mr. Poliquin. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, we'll introduce you to a Bangor man who has a knack for bowling a perfect game. We'll see you after the break.
I was a public health nurse for 29 years. I went into the homes of my neighbors, including many seniors, and cared for them. Then Paul LePage became governor, and everything changed. He kicked seniors off Maine's low-cost prescription drug plan. He cut a Social Security program when it was needed most, and even opposed Meals on Wheels funding. How cruel is that? We can't go back to Paul LePage.
The top funder of Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
In Maine, it's always buying season. And at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln, we carry new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams for your buying season. Here at Thornton Brothers, we'll help you find the right vehicle specifically for you to suit your lifestyle. As they say, the proof is in the performance. So come on over and test drive a real vehicle from a real dealership, or place your order with us and see why it really is buying season here in Maine. Thornton Brothers, Main Street, Lincoln.
Senator Joe Baldacci, hardworking, independent, and effective. Joe Baldacci delivered by helping to pass more than $1 billion in direct tax relief for more than 95% of Maine taxpayers. Joe Baldacci delivered by passing laws to support Maine's small businesses across the board that provided tens of millions in direct relief, helping to protect and save thousands of jobs. Joe Baldacci, hardworking, independent, and effective, delivering results for Bangor and her.
She's been learning about the founding of our country, about rights and freedoms that today are under assault. Politician Bruce Poliquin supported amending the U.S. Constitution to ban abortion. He even voted for a nationwide ban. Poliquin would allow politicians to stand between women and their doctors. He supported allowing states to outlaw abortion even in cases of rape or incest. We can't let Bruce Poliquin back in Congress.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's simple, and it's not an imaginary threat. In fact, it's happening right now all over the country. Bruce Poliquin would hand over control of our healthcare decisions to politicians. Poliquin would allow politicians like him to make abortion illegal, even in the case of rape and incest. But that's not the end of the story. Poliquin also supported a national abortion ban, so even if Maine says no, we still lose control of our healthcare decisions. Bruce Poliquin is a risk we just can't take. Center Forward Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Drivers will want to take it easy if they are headed out today. Heavy rain fell throughout the night that could cause some problems along the roadway. That was certainly in the case along a stretch of road in Durham. Due to ongoing heavy rain conditions, a portion of Route 9 was washed out. The Maine DOT closed Route 9 because of a culvert failure. There is a detour using routes 125 and 136. The area is expected to remain closed for at least 2 weeks until the culvert can be replaced by a larger one. Fortunately, it looks like the rainfall is finally winding down. The city of Ellsworth has announced plans for a new police department. Matthew Jaroncic has more on that story.
Ellsworth City Council voted 5-2 in favor of moving the police department to 416 High Street Monday night. The police unit currently shares the same building as City Hall and the Ellsworth Fire Department.
The area is cramped. It's not ergonomically acceptable. And there's several security concerns because of windows and things like that.
According to Police Chief and City Manager Glenn Mosier, under the new agreement, Ellsworth will be leasing the High Street property for more than $100,000 a year over a 20-year span, with the rent increasing 3% each year. However, some Ellsworth taxpayers say they don't agree with the decision.
Well, I feel that the police station that we have now is adequate. They are taxing the businesses and the private owners of land in Ellsworth right out of their homes. Taxes are ridiculously high.
Mosier says the transition will be well worth the cost and help with the department better serving the community.
It's going to provide a significant amount of additional space for the police department, allow us to grow, allow us to develop, to grow with our community as the community continues to grow, and provide more opportunity for the police department to be able to do things correctly.
This is the building that the police department is going to take over, and despite it being a little farther away from City Hall, Police Chief Mosier tells me this is the best place for the police department.
We're going to have an opportunity to have safe and state-of-the-art equipment for our officers, for our storage of our evidence, for our criminal prosecution of cases. So it provides us a lot more space for our officers, our detectives, and our supervisors.
And with the new facility, the city voted to invest more than $800,000 in renovations, which include remodeling the main floor and basement, upgrading its HVAC and installing new private fencing. In the end, Mosier says everyone benefits with this decision.
It's really much more than just a win for the police department. I think it's a win for fire, and it's a win for the city overall, because now we have an opportunity to focus on other needs.
Matthew Juronsik, ABC7 and Fox 22.
Sundays can be the perfect day for a scenic drive, especially this time of year. For Scott LaLiberty and Melinda Turner driving along the North Road in Mount Vernon, seeing an emu walking alongside them, well, that made for a special moment caught on camera.
It took me a while to process it, but I told her, you know, it probably isn't every day you see an emu, and we could probably drive, you know, for 100,000 miles and never see another emu walking down the road.
Scott tells us that he had heard that the emu had escaped from a local farm in Mount Vernon during a storm early this summer. Her name is Harriet, and she has a boyfriend named Ozzy that can't wait for her to get home. Athletes everywhere practice and train to get better and faster at their sport. Well, the same is true for competitive bowlers. They make corrections each game in order to improve their score. As Jody Hersey explains, one Bangor man recently bowled a perfect game, scoring 12 strikes in a row.
Kirk Grass of Bangor loves the sound of falling pins.
My brother and I came when I was 16, and I haven't stopped bowling since then.
For the past 4 years, Grass has been throwing balls down the lanes at the Family Fun Bowling Center on Hildreth Street in Bangor, where he is also an employee.
It's fun no matter what. It doesn't exclude anybody, and all you got to do is practice if you want to get better.
Last week, Grass scored a perfect 300 game. He describes what it was like stepping up for his last throw.
And I was very nervous at the end. I went up and I said, "Oh, my legs are shaking," and my brother heard it. And then I just threw the shot. I didn't want to waste time, and the more time I spent, I felt like the more anxious I was going to get. So.
Friends and family captured Grass's 12th and final strike on their cell phones. His mom, Polly, says she is thrilled at his success.
He said, "Wow, Mom, you missed it by just a few seconds." And I was pretty proud. He's been waiting to get a 300, and he finally got it.
Grass is hoping his winning streak will continue. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC7 and Fox 22.
Coming up, the White House is set to unveil its plan to lower gas prices. We'll take a look when we return.
Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor is the best and only spot you should go to for your rug cleanings. Serving Maine for more than 70 years, we care about your rugs. Clean rugs last longer, and our family takes pride in being the professionals that you can trust. Our cleaning process consists of soaking your rug in a bath, shampooing, rinsing, and drying in a humidity-controlled dry room, making sure no detail is overlooked. Need a repair? We fully service every type of rug for you. Saliba's Rug Cleaners.
We care about your rugs.
Joe Biden is crushing Maine. And who does Jared Golden support?
Golden's backing Biden.
Jared Golden said Joe Biden has
leadership that the country needs right now.
Higher taxes, record inflation, and still.
Golden's backing Biden.
In D.C., Joe Biden relies on Jared Golden's votes.
President Joe Biden, and I'm asking you to vote for Jared Golden.
Jared Golden says he's independent, but anytime it matters, Golden's backing Biden.
I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message.
Hi, my name is Tony Ruda, founder of the Senior Planning Center. There isn't a week that goes by that we don't help some Medicare recipient in their Medicare programs and save them money. The Senior Planning Center has locations and agents throughout the state of Maine. So why would you want to call an 800 number out of state when the help is right here at home? Give us a call so we can help you save money and make your Medicare decisions.
Jay Leno live in concert.
Researchers at Washington University report that 100,000 years from now, the average size of the human head will greatly increase. They say the larger the head and the larger the jaw, the more sexually attractive people will be. So I am 100,000 years ahead of my time. That's right.
Saturday, October 22nd, Collins Center for the Arts, Orono, Maine. Tickets on sale now at waterfrontconcerts.com.
87,000 new IRS agents. Jared Golden and the Democrats in Congress voted to hire them. They doubled the size of the IRS to seize another $20 billion in new taxes from the middle class. And now Democrats openly threaten to raise taxes again next year. Jared Golden won't stop them. He votes with Biden and Pelosi 83% of the time. It's a war on the middle class, and Jared Golden marches with them. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
House is preparing to unveil its plan today to lower gas prices, including releasing another 15 million barrels of oil from the nation's stockpile. President Biden is expected to announce that along with a series of steps aimed at bringing some Americans relief at the pump. ABC's Justin Finch is in Washington with the details.
Though Americans are now paying less on average to fill up their gas tanks, today, the White House is expected to roll out its plan to bring even more relief to U.S. households.
Should the president not do everything that he can to lower prices? Should he not continue to keep his promise to give American people a little bit of breathing room?
President Biden is expected to authorize releasing 15 million oil barrels from the U.S.'s Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The final dispersal of the 180 million barrels the president pledged in March from the nation's stockpile. But critics say the 15 million barrels isn't enough, considering the U.S. consumes about 20 million barrels per day. That last round of reserve oil due for release in December after the November midterm elections.
I think the key story there is this administration doing as much as we can to help increase the energy supply? And I think the answer is unequivocally yes.
They should be talking about how much things cost at the supermarket, at the gas pump, how people feel unsafe on the streets.
Republicans fine-tuning their midterm messaging around inflation and the economy, with early voting underway in some states. That as gas prices have dropped 5 cents in the last week, but the national average for a gallon of gas is now 20 cents higher than 1 month ago. The president is also expected to go after oil companies, which have seen record profits this year. The White House plan also comes weeks after OPEC Plus announced it's cutting oil production by 2 million barrels per day starting in November. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Chris Watson.
Your Majesty.
With just weeks to go before season 5 of The Crown premieres, addressing the breakup of Princess Diana and Prince Charles's marriage, Netflix is kicking the can down the road with its forthcoming documentary about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The streamer continues to weather accusations of insensitivity for debuting the new season of The Crown so soon after Queen Elizabeth's death. Given that the Harry and Meghan doc is said to be critical of the royal family, Netflix has delayed its scheduled November release until sometime next year. We've got our first trailer for Creed 3, once again starring Michael B. Jordan as the boxing champ. It opens March 2nd of next year. There's hope for fans wishing for a sequel to 2013's Man of Steel.
Don't play games with me, General.
Word is we're getting one, with Henry Cavill returning as Superman. And South Park co-creator Trey Parker is 53 Wednesday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
87,000 new IRS agents. Jared Golden and the Democrats in Congress voted to hire them. They doubled the size of the IRS to seize another $20 billion in new taxes from the middle class. And now Democrats openly threaten to raise taxes again next year. Jared Golden won't stop them. He votes with Biden and Pelosi 83% of the time. It's a war on the middle class, and Jared Golden marches with them. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Go get it. Go.
Hey, I was hoping you'd be here.
I think they like each other.
I'm Charles. Lunch?
Vanessa. I like lunch.
Bacon. For a limited time, get 2 Bacon McDouble burgers for $3.99. Or get one with a McChicken for only $3.99. Only at McDonald's.
At Home Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring in Dover, Foxcroft are proud members of the Flooring Network here in Maine. We have our flooring installers on staff ready for you and your custom flooring project. With over 50 years of combined experience, we'll work with you from start to finish, including demo and cleanup. Backed by the Flooring Network's state-of-the-art warehouses, we have a massive inventory to provide you with the best value and fit any flooring budget you may have. So stop in, meet our flooring experts, and see what we can do to make you feel at home.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need tractors rated #1 in durability and owner experience so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Right now, bring home the Kubota VX Series for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, plus save up to $700.
Welcome back. It's looking a little nicer after all that rain overnight. Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
All righty, happy Wednesday afternoon. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, with locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. Already small craft advisory in effect until 6 p.m. on Thursday. Note today is Wednesday. This is in effect until Thursday because we saw that cold front moving in, keeping the ocean a little bit on the stirred up side as well. We just dropped the aerial flood watch that was in effect. This got dropped at noon, so things are starting to improve. We had some rain moving through earlier, and now we still have a few showers. That's on the eastern edge of Maine, but notice everyone else starting to calm down finally. So if you're getting sick and tired of the rain, I know many of you are, we're finally starting to catch a little bit of a break with that, and we do have a few nice days on the way with that as well. Here's the bigger picture, though, a little bit more of a sensitive mode of the radar, maybe a few showers still trying to develop this afternoon in a few spots, but overall, we're going to be looking pretty good moving forward as this front begins to move away. Some nice days on the way. Quick little cool down, but overall, temperatures will remain nice overall. Low pressure moving away and high pressure not too far away right behind it. Gusty winds on the way for today only, but starting to back off, but still up to 20 to 25 miles per hour today. But look what happens tonight, starting to back off to around 15 miles per hour for the gusts. Was the same winds at around 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour. Maybe a few more gusts on the way for the daytime tomorrow. Here we are at wave heights. This is why we have small craft advisories in effect. 5 to 7 foot wave heights, not too far away from the coast, farther out towards sea. 11 foot wave heights. This is along that cold front, though, and that is why those advisories remain in effect. Our average high is 57 degrees, lower 60s for today, middle to upper 50s Thursday to Friday, lower 60s for your Saturday, middle 60s, not too bad for your Sunday, cooling off a little bit by Monday, and then back up into 60s again for your Tuesday. Futurecast moving forward, though, a few passing clouds again during the afternoon and evening time frame. Overall, we will become mostly clear later on tonight, allowing temperatures to cool off. Maybe a few clouds moving in for the day on Thursday, but overall, a lot of sunshine on the way, but a gusty wind on the way yet again, though. But overall, weather looking pretty nice for the next few days, especially after the rain that we just saw moving through. Lower 60s today, rain showers then becoming partly cloudy. The south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 30s, mostly clear, becoming nice and quiet out there. South wind at about 5 miles per hour. A few areas could see up to 10 to 15 miles per hour, at least early on. For tomorrow, middle 50s, mostly sunny and breezy. Southwest wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Scott's Recreation extended forecast. Sunshine continues Friday and Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s and middle 60s on Sunday with a mostly cloudy sky.
Thank you, Devin. It's nice to see some sunshine. The rain certainly did a number on all of the leaves. I've got a ton of raking to do on my lawn. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Peter Dubois and Beth Jones on ABC 7 News at 6. I hope you have a great afternoon.
Seniors know a scam when they see one, like Bruce Poliquin.
My heart is breaking for our seniors in Maine.
He says he'll help Maine seniors. But the last time Poliquin was in Congress, he voted to cut $500 billion from Medicare. And he supports raising the retirement age for Social Security. Maine seniors can trust Jared Golden. Jared stood up to both parties to protect Social Security and Medicare.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because Maine seniors earned their retirement.
You're watching ABC 7.